Now, promotions and pay rises may be passing working mothers by. It's known as motherhood penalty, and it could come as a rude shock to ambitious working mums.
It's estimated that women who return to work after 12 months of parental leave are subject to an average wage penalty of 7%. And two mums who came up with their own solution to balancing work and family are Jane Wright and Lauren Barel. They join us now. Welcome to you both, and tell us a bit about your story.
Well, Lauren and I first met about over a decade ago when we were working at a top-tier law firm together. We worked together for about 5 years, and then about 5 years in, we both fell pregnant with our first child, both children, and we decided that we would job share when we came back. So that was a proposal that we brought to the partnership and said that we wanted to job share. We'd seen another couple who'd done that previously, and we thought that was a great model to work in. So we worked in that for about 5 years, and then in 2013 we decided to leave and to set up our own business. Together with our third partner, Jonathan Wright, we set up Workdynamic Australia, which is a firm specialising in workplace investigations and employment law.
And job sharing, is that in the legal industry? We know it's a difficult industry. Is that rather novel?
It was, yeah, it is a novel concept. I think in the firm that we were working in, there had been a few examples. The job share we ended up setting up and doing for 5 years was extremely successful, and it was looked upon as being quite a good example for other women. I think the tricky bit with job sharing, though, is finding the right partner to job share with. We were lucky. We found each other. We were both at the same level of seniority and specialising in the same very niche area, and that was fortunate.
So just talk us through it then. Look, take obviously your own example then. How do you decide who works when and what you do? And particularly if you are sharing the one job, if you're having to, say, go through a project, how do you work that?
So essentially Lauren covers the first half of the week and I cover the latter part of the week. We have a crossover day of Wednesday. So when we were working in a more traditional environment, we used to just meet up every Wednesday and give handovers of matters. We try and operate as one person. So we have all the same clients, we have all the same matters. We're completely across our practice as a whole. So the idea should be that a client should find us completely interchangeable, that it shouldn't matter whether they get Jane or whether they get Lauren.
Is that an advantage perhaps, having two heads?
Oh, definitely.
And we've had exactly that feedback from clients, that they feel that they're getting two minds for the price of one. And we find that a really fulfilling way to work because we get to bounce ideas off each other. We have someone else who's completely across the matter, and that's really advantageous when you're doing complex legal advice.
And in the industry, have you had younger women coming to you or people who are considering having children asking your advice?
Oh, definitely. My husband actually is a partner at a top-tier law firm as well. So I get feedback both from the members of his team and also from other women that have come and even asked to come and work with us. So our team's grown up from 2 to 7 that we have now in just over a year, and some of that growth's been from people coming to us and saying, we love the fact that you're a truly flexible working environment and I want to still work at that top level, and we give them a way to do that with still being able to balance that with the demands of having a young family.
Lauren, you talk about the positives obviously. There must be some downside though. You say you've got to be lucky to have two like minds, but I mean that's going to be fairly difficult, isn't it?
I think it is difficult, and I think if you don't have the right partner it can be bad. As I said, just finding that person is difficult, and we were lucky to do that. But yeah, I think if it doesn't work, it will be a very bad situation. And you need to work really hard to make it work. I mean, we work extremely hard to communicate and get each other across everything that we're both doing.
So you start talking about it in the workplace. Is that your advice to someone who's considering it? Talk to someone who else is in a similar position and maybe just discuss whether it would work.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if it's driven by the employees, it's got more chance of success than if managers are just putting A and B together and saying, well, they're both having children, so let's shove them together. I mean, Lauren and I have more in common than just the fact that we had young children at a similar time. As Lauren said, we had a similar drive, we had a similar area of specialty. So, and we were also we were good friends before we started job sharing. So all of those things played into what made our job share a success.
And you are two women. Is there anybody who's doing it sharing a man and a woman?
Not that I've seen, but I mean there's absolutely no reason that couldn't be the case. I think more and more people are wanting flexible work for different reasons, regardless of whether they're parents or not parents, male or female. And I think it could work in any environment. It's more a case of employers opening up their minds to it, I think.
Well, exactly. You say that. Do you think there's enough flexibility and adaptability from the corporate point of view, from employers, to actually take this on?
I think that the traditional model is sort of holding people back. The idea that you have to be present at a particular location between the hours of 9 to 5 or in a law firm from 7:30 till 7:30 at night, that's a real challenge. And I think it's more as we move towards more innovative firms like Workdynamic, where we just concentrate on, you get given some work, you get a time frame to do it. We assess the quality of that work. We remunerate you for the work that you perform. We don't care whether you're sitting on a beach, whether you're at home, whether you do it at 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of a feed or something. We don't care. We just focus on the actual outputs rather than the way that you do the work.
And so just as far as entitlements are concerned, is that split down the middle? You sort of share holidays, pay, the whole gamut?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we're two part-time employees, essentially, but we come together to work in one job share arrangement, but we have our own entitlements.
And how do you, often many mothers, we talk about the fact that, you feel like you're stretching the rubber band further and further. Do you ever feel sometimes like it's going to snap? Is it a tough task?
I think we've both been close to snapping points. I mean, I think like right before we decided to set up our own firm, maybe we were at that tension point, feeling frustrations, hitting roadblocks, deciding that we were going to take that huge risk of leaving a very stable, well-remunerated job to set up our own business. I think we've all felt like that. And I mean, I've dealt with it by, my husband now works 1 day a week from home. So it's actually made change at his workplace as well. As being an employment lawyer, I wrote in his flexible work application. It was accepted. And so now he's the first partner at his firm to do 1 day a week from home. So it sort of creates a bit of a roll-on effect.
Jane Wright, Lauren Barel, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.